My friends and beef, I come to you today not as just your average Magic player, but as a true believer, for I have seen the light, or rather, the five heads, and I have joined the Church of Tiamat. Now, this church doesn't have auditing, but it does have a healthy serving of fire, cold, acid, lightning, and poison. I think that's all of them, and whatever other elements dragons might breathe. But yes, our glorious goddess is here to bring only the most powerful dragons to the forefront of battle as we conquer all who refuse to pay homage. So prepare your soul and your mana base as we all bow and hail the Dragon Queen.
I don't know if that was intentional, but you said friends and beef. Are we not friends? I don't know. We've known each other a while. Go ahead.
Viewers.
Yes,
friends, viewers, and beef alike.
And beef also. Yeah.
So, yeah, the commander. Let's talk about it. Tiamat is a 7/7 flying dragon god. Costs Wooburg and 2 generic, so 7 total. Big old dragon. Says, when Tiamat enters the battlefield, if you cast it, search your library for up to 5 dragon cards not named Tiamat that each have different names, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. So, I'll talk a bit more on that in a second.
You know what's worse than 1 dragon? 6 dragons, actually. That's a problem.
Yeah. So, powerful tutor effect sitting right there in the command zone. All I have to do is cast her. So the intended bracket of this deck is a solid 3. It's a dragon deck. So game changers, funnily enough, I am running 0 game changers in here. But if I were to hand pick one of these cards and call it a game changer, it might be show and tell just in the context of this deck. Just because that gets a dragon in for 3 mana. So anyway, but technically not a game changer, but you know. All right, so let's dive into piloting this monster. So unlike Beef's deck, where he went for smaller creatures, smaller spells, this ain't doing that. This is the opposite end of the spectrum. But yeah, Tiamat, very powerful tutor effect sitting in command zone. Also presents a 3-turn clock for commander damage if we focus on attacking a single opponent. But let's say we managed to achieve this. We invested our 7 mana, all 5 colors among it. Tiamat thankfully doesn't get countered and enters, and we get 5 big dragons into our hand from library. Great. Now what? Well, we don't really want to go to the trouble of having to tap out again just to get one of those dragons into play. No. That simply will not do. We want to cheat these dragons into play with Elvish Piper sorts of effects. And reanimation spells too. So 5 additional cards in our hand means there is a pretty high likelihood that we're going to have to pitch a couple of those to the graveyard. So that is setting up some excellent banger targets for the likes of reanimation or animate dead. And after that, we're pretty much off to Value Town and swinging for some big damage, as they say, and digging into protection spells to preserve that board state, that frightful presence. As dragons have in Dungeons and Dragons.
Have you heard what the dragons are hungry for? Have they signed up for their meal? I'm hoping that they're not interested in crab.
I don't know. That's pretty tasty stuff.
Fingers crossed.
All right. So our game plan here. Let's delve into that a bit. So first section I've kind of outlined is cheating. Not like cheating like that
like
one.
Cheaty Face, right? Cheaty Face is in the deck, and no.
So no, this is getting around having to actually cast creatures the normal way. We just get them into play. One of those ways is Aether Vial, which is just a 1-drop that says beginning of your upkeep. You may put a charge counter on it, so you don't have to. And then you tap it and you put a creature card with mana value equal to the charge counters on this onto the battlefield. So you got to be careful because you have to pay attention to what's in your hand or what you're thinking might come into your hand, and then it has to match the mana value of what you're putting in. So the sweet spot for this deck is probably mana value 6, I would say 5 or 6. 7, there's not as many 7 drops and 8 drops. There's one 8 drop. So there's that. We also have Minion of the Mighty, which is just a single red kobold. 0/1 with menace, but it has pack tactics. Whenever it attacks, if you attacked with creatures with total power 6 or greater this combat, you may put a dragon creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. And notably, it doesn't come back to your hand; it just stays. So that's a great thing to get out early game, and it's just going to pay off later on as long as it's still around. I used to run this in my mono red dragon deck, but it didn't. That deck is more about just pulling them straight from the library into play, so this, I think, is a much better fit in this deck. Yeah. Another one is Smuggler's Surprise, which this card does serves a lot of different purposes. So it's just 1 green, but it has Spree, so you have to choose from among these, and you can choose all of them so long as you have enough mana to add the effects. So the cheat one is, so you pay the 1 green plus 4 and another green, so a total of 6, and you may put up to 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield at instant speed. So, I mean, need I say more?
It's basically crazy. Like a less costed. Oh god, what's the green sorcery that like searches up
Tooth and Nail?
Yeah.
It just
oh no! It just knocked the glasses right off me. I was so gobsmacked by how crazy good it is. Yeah,
as long as it's basically a tooth and nail, so long as the things are in your hand at instant speed.
And with Tiamat, the things are going to be in your hand. You don't have to worry about
that's the idea.
Oh, that's good.
But otherwise, it can serve kind of a card advantage role where you can do the 2 generic with the green to mill 4 cards and put up to 2 creature and or land cards from among the milled cards into your hand. So it's potentially 2 cards that's going to your hand. And the other one is just a generic extra to give your creatures with power 4 or greater, hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Which with dragons, that's I think that's all of them in the deck. So,
I mean, it's effectively a heroic intervention.
Yeah. As
a bonus.
Yeah.
Like it can do reanimation, it can do milling, it can do.
The card does work. Yeah. It's so good.
That's a very useful.
Plus, it's playing on the the Trojan horse.
Sure.
In the art. It's
I like
really
that.
Goofy.
I like that.
All right, next on the docket, Hunting Grounds, which is just Selesnya colors, green and white. It's an enchantment that really does nothing until you have Threshold. So as long as you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, it says whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. And we have several ways of getting things in graveyard, and I mean, Smuggler's Surprise being one of them. So another good early play that pays off down the road.
Don't you just love 5-color, all the good things shenanigans?
I was just like, yeah, I need to find a way to get them out for free because
life found a way.
The real work is casting the commander. If I can do that, then we're good.
True, very true.
Show and Tell, like I mentioned earlier, it's a sorcery for 2 and a blue. It says each player may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land card from their hand onto the battlefield. So just boop, drag it and play.
Something tells me you're going to take the most advantage of that.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, you never know. If somebody's running Eldrazi or something, then
I guess it's possible.
It could be really bad, but an Annihilator. Elvish Piper, that's kind of your run-of-the-mill, 4-drop creature, but later on you can pay a green and just tap it to put a creature in play. And then the artifact equivalent of it, Quicksilver Amulet, same thing, just costs 4 instead. And we have Monster Manual, which is great. Which, D&D, it's a D&D commander, and we have this Monster Manual. But the adventure is great. Zoological Study, where pay 3, mill 5 cards, and I can return a creature milled this way to my hand. And then, it's just another Quicksilver Amulet effect, just uses green and a generic and has to tap. So, very
redundancy.
Good.
Gotta love that redundancy.
Yep, exactly. Sneak Attack. I mean, because why not, right? I mean, the things have to sacrifice at the end of my turn, but then, hey, they're targets for reanimation later on.
I like that a lot.
Get them out of my hand, and I could do this during the end step before my turn, so they stick around and they don't sacrifice until my end step.
There you go.
Yeah,
I like that.
So
makes sense.
We got a new one from the Tarkir set, Breaching Dragonstorm, which kind of useless and maybe I shouldn't say that. It's especially good in a dragon deck, though. So 4 in red enchantment says when it enters, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. You may cast it without paying its mana cost if that spell's mana value is 8 or less. If you don't, put that card into your hand. So, you know, even if I happen to hit something that's 10, it's going to go to its card advantage. And when a dragon you control enters, return this enchantment to its owner's hand. So it gets reuse, especially if the thing that it hits is a dragon. It's coming back to hand immediately.
You know, that reminds me of Golos' ability just a little bit. It's like kind of like that sort of a feeling, but just for the dragon. Like really, like
yeah,
it makes sense. I like it. I like it more there in that way. That's cool.
Yep. And finally, among the cheat effects is another new one, none other than Draco Genesis, which, my God, in Tiamat, I mean, granted, it is an 8-drop enchantment, so 6 and 2 red, but it says you may cast dragon spells without paying their mana costs, and not just from your hand, anywhere.
I've been thinking of this as clawomniscience.
Yeah, it's so God, it's so good.
It is very good.
It's just you know, dragons. They didn't really need this,
they didn't.
but they got it. So here
but
it is.
what do dragons really need anyway? They don't
These
need
days,
things.
they don't need much.
They just covet things. That's what they're good at, and so of course this is appropriate for a dragon horde.
Exactly. All right. The other section among my game plan cards is Overwhelm. So trying to overwhelm my opponents just with big creatures and crazy value engines. There are a lot of these I'll mention later on, but the one that sticks out is Utvara Hellkite, which says whenever a dragon you control attacks, create a 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying. So just a way to try and do a little bit of a go wide strategy, but requires other dragons in play to really start capitalizing. But,
that's a really tough one. Those are really tough tokens for my Is It Staticaster. I have to untap it 6 times to take out all your dragon tokens. That's a problem.
Yeah,
that's gonna be rough.
Some of the other cards in the Overwhelm are like Miram Sentinel Worm, Balefire Dragon, Terror of the Peaks, Ancient Silver Dragon, and Call of the Spirit Dragons. I'll touch on those later. And then finally among my game plan is really centered around World Gorger Dragon. That's kind of the way I try to win. I'll mention World Gorger Dragon. It is a 7/7 Nightmare Dragon for 3 and 3 red, so it's a bit of an investment for casting. Flying Trample, when it enters the battlefield, exile all other permanents you control. So that includes lands. And it says when it leaves the battlefield, return the exiled cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. So that, when paired with the likes of Necromancy, Dance of the Dead, or Animate Dead, is an infinite loop for infinite mana from just your lands re-entering untapped. I do have a lot of shock lands, so I have to be a little careful sometimes with that. So I'm hoping to see, like Command Tower, right? If I have Command Tower, then I'm fine. But so it's a little bit of setup needed to make that truly work. But if the reanimation doesn't work, we have Miram Sentinel Worm, which also accomplishes that from hand rather than coming back from the graveyard. But if Miram and World Gorger Dragon just are alone together, it ends the game in a draw if it doesn't get stopped. So I need ways to finish it out, right? So there's a few ways. There's Terror of the Peaks, which I don't think I need to say what it does. We're all pretty familiar at this point, I think, with Terror of the Peaks.
We all know what it's like to be set on fire.
Just anything enters, it's damage to face. Dragon Tempest, which it's an enchantment that gives my creatures I control flying haste, but also it pings things for damage when a dragon enters, equal to the number of dragons you control. So World Gorger, everything it re-enters, it's gonna ping things to the face. And then finally, Inferno of the Star Mounts is another one, which I would rather go with this route because this is the more fun one, where it's a 6/6 flyer for 6, can't be countered, and it has flying and haste, but it has it has fire breathing, right? You pay red and it gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and when its power becomes 20 this way, it deals 20 damage to any target. So I can get that infinite red, feed it all into this, trigger its ability to damage to face, and then the exiling will continue and reset its power, so I can just repeat that process. But hey, I'm going to pause for a second here. If you don't know already, I am Tarren.
I'm Beef.
Yeah, and we're the CommanDorks. We do deck tech and gameplay videos. of various different decks. This is the Tiamat deck, but Beef also has a deck tech that's releasing alongside this one for his Crab Rave.
Red Death Shipwrecker from Fallout, Crab Rave deck. Yes.
Yeah, yep. So check that out after this video, and be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. A lot more content coming down the pipe, and join the City's Blessing Discord server.
Absolutely.
Recently renamed from the OGS. So we play games there all the time, and hey, if you hop in, you might see a deck that we're planning on showcasing down the road. So hope to see you there.
And the next stream we do is going to be Tarren's deck. There's these dragons versus my deck, the Crab Rave, and a couple of friends of ours are going to be joining us as well, to be determined. So give yourself a chance to see what that stream's going to be all about.
All right, delve back into it with Ramp. So we got some mana rocks because why not? Soul Ring. We have Arcane Signet. Those are kind of the two staples. Felwar Stone is excellent in a 5-color deck because it's, depending on the colors I'm up against, it can really help me with fixing. Chromatic Lantern, another just great mana rock in 5-color. And, I thought it'd be good to slot Mox Jasper in here just because it's,
when
dragons.
in Rome.
Granted, it is a lot more balanced than your average 0-drop because you need a dragon for it to do anything. So I got to get there first, and then it really kind of pushes you ahead, is what it does. We have Dragon's Horde, which doubles as a card advantage piece, but it says, whenever a dragon enters, you put a gold counter on it. You can tap it to remove a gold counter and draw a card, or otherwise it's just a mana rock for any color of mana. So really good in this deck.
I love a good flavorful piece like that.
Oh yeah, it's a natural inclusion. We have so those are all of our. Actually, no, we have one more rock. We have Orb of Dragonkind, another one that I used to run in my Zeroland mono red dragon deck, but I think it's a lot better here because it's a two drop rock. You have to pay 1 and tap it to add 2 mana of any combination of colors. Spend that to only cast dragon spells or activate abilities of dragons. So color fixing to try and hard cast dragons. Alternatively, I can pay a red and tap it and sack it to look at the top 7 cards in my library, and I can put a dragon from among them into my hand, and then the rest go on the bottom. So just really good mana rock and utility draw if it needs to come down to that. Then we have a few spells that help us ramp. We have Nature's Lore. I used to have like Farseek and the other one in here, but I needed room for other things, so it's just Nature's Lore. We have Tempt with Discovery, which oh man, I used to run this in I think my Gitrog deck, but then it went out, and then now it's here, and I was at first I was like, it's not good. Nobody ever does it. But then it's like, well, sometimes people fall behind on their land drops. So,
and worst case scenario, you're paying 4 mana to get the best land out of your library.
And in this case, that's Cavern of Souls.
Yeah.
Probably Cavern of Souls, or if I already have Cavern of Souls, it's probably the World Tree.
I honestly find there's a lot of situations where 2 of the 3 opponents will say no, but then one person, they're behind and they can't say no. So you're getting 2 lands out of it. I mean, that's good. And they're untapped when they come out. It's 2, not any land. Basics. Yeah, it's a great card.
Yep. So I like it a lot in this deck. And in 5-color, where you need to get that fixing for the Wooburg, it's great. Dragon Speaker Shaman. Dragons cost 2 less when he's in play, so that's excellent. And similarly, Urza's Incubator. That one you gotta be a little careful about, especially when you have a mirror match against another dragon deck, so you can inadvertently help them, which happened when I was playing against my brother not too long ago with his Dragon. Good God. Well, I don't know what I was thinking. And Rivaz of the Claw is a great dragon. Well, he's not a dragon, but he's a mana dork for dragons. He's a 3/3 with Menace. You can tap him to add 2 mana in any combo of colors. Spend that only to cast dragon creature spells. And once during each of your turns, you may cast a dragon creature spell from your graveyard. And whenever you cast a dragon spell from your graveyard, it gains when this creature dies, exile it. So, limits you a little bit on how many times you can be recurring. Unless they get bounced or something, then that resets that.
But it really leans nicely into what you've already been talking about with getting that reanimation of dragons and whatnot.
Yep.
So.
And he's actually, I think he's a relative of Ziraland of the Claw, because they're both part of the same clan.
Okay.
I caught that not too long ago. I was like, oh yeah, they're really similar in
makes
that
sense.
way. So, Goldspan Dragon is just a dragon ramp piece, flying haste, and when he attacks, I get a treasure token, and he lets my treasures tap for 2 of the same color. So,
Solid.
just good. Klauth, Unrivaled Ancient, pulled this guy from the Mystery Booster. 4/4 with haste, and when he attacks, add X mana in any combo of colors where X is the total power of attacking creatures. Spend that only to cast spells, so no abilities. But until end of turns, I don't lose those between steps and phases. Otherwise, it would fizzle out after combat. But
boy, there's so many things I have to go. So little time.
I don't know if you want to go this because I'm going to get
Probably
mana.
not. Yeah, I mean, well, it's going to attack either way.
As long as
it's not going at me, I hope.
And then we have some top-end ramp here. I mean, Klauth is also a top-end ramp piece, but these are gross. These are all gross. Not going to sugarcoat it. Ancient Copper Dragon, Cavern Horde Dragon, and Old Gnawbone. Not going to delve into them in any more detail. That's
Enough
just
said, yeah.
enough said. All right, that's the ramp. We need it to make this deck do its thing. Let's delve into card advantage. So we have another new one from one of the Tarkir cards, because holy crap, they did a lot of support for dragons. Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. Normally only taps for colorless, but it also says you can add a mana of any color and spend that to cast only cast a dragon spell or an omen spell. I don't run any omens in this deck. And it has, you pay for and tap and sack it to search your library for a dragon card and put it in your hand and reveal it. It's a dragon tutor on a land.
It's good.
Yeah. I do run crop rotation as well because I really like having Cavern of Souls around because I don't want my commander getting countered. Kind of throws off the whole vibe.
Threw off my groove.
Yeah, man. We have Expedition Map because, dragons, you gotta go on an adventure to try and find the dragon. Well, in this case, the land that we need, which is probably Cavern of Souls. Faithless Looting is just a really good early game draw piece. Draw 2 and then discard 2, set up that reanimation later down the road, and the flashback is great because if you need draw later on, it's there for you. Another new one, Dragonologist. Oh my god, this card is great. It says, when this creature enters, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant, sorcery, or dragon card from among them and put it into your hand, and then the rest go on the bottom. And furthermore, untapped dragons you control have hexproof. It's just like, oh my god, that's a lot of value.
Yeah, that's
on
great.
one card.
That is great.
God, but it's... Again, like, did dragons need that? Probably not.
Probably
But
not,
holy
but
crap, they got it.
They sure did.
Yeah, that is a fun one. We also have Garruk's Uprising and Temur Ascendancy. Both of them are pretty similar, where as long as a creature entering has power 4 or greater, it's going to draw me a card. Garruk's Uprising is great because all my creatures are going to have Trample, and Temur Ascendancy, instead of Trample, it's Haste. All great when you're spending that much mana to get something big into play. You want it to try and hit face immediately.
Yeah, the only thing worse than a dragon is a hasty dragon, because it's
Yeah.
hitting you already.
Yeah, yep, that's... Gotta maintain that frightful presence.
I think you managed that.
Dragonborn Champion is probably my cheapest dragon I have in the deck. 5/3 Trampler that says whenever a source you control deals 5 or more damage to a player, you draw a card. So just, really good, especially alongside Terror of the Peaks. Just bing, ping, ping, and draw. Imrith Desert Doom, 5/5 flyer, says it has ward 4 as long as it's untapped, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Then if you have fewer than 3 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. So it's always getting you back up to 3 at the very minimum. And yeah, just a great flying, blocker, but if there's an opening and I need cards,
It's interesting. I'm seeming to notice something happening here. Is it just me, or are dragons generally very good? Is that always the case? They're just a really strong
there's some bad ones out there. There's some bad ones.
I'm sure there
but
are. Yeah.
This, like I said, Tiamat wants only the best.
Yeah, of course she does. She's actually hoarding dragons. That's her hoard, is other dragons
Dragons themselves. card advantage. Sarkhan the Unbroken. It's the only Planeswalker in this deck. This is probably the one that is most likely to be cut. But I mean, it's all right. It's a 5-drop for Temur colors and 2 generic. Comes in with 4 loyalty. I can do the +1 to draw a card and add a mana of any color. Not bad. The -2 makes a 4/4 red dragon with flying, so it gives himself a blocker if he's the only thing out there. And the ultimate is I search my library for any number of dragon cards and put them into play. So it's if I have enough dragons to protect him and block him, he's a looming threat that has to be dealt with.
Yeah.
A Stinging Study. Oh my god.
Great card draw.
When your commander is 7 mana, like it's tough to pass up on this.
Yeah.
It's 4 and black instant where you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the mana value of a commander you own or own on the battlefield or in the command zone. So just gonna draw 7 cards as long as it resolves. Another fun one, 2-headed Hellkite. So Wooburg and generic 5/5 Flying Menace Haste says when it attacks, draw 2 cards.
Wow.
So that's tough to get out there, but boy. That's going to be a draw engine and a half.
That's a great piece. It's just everything you want. Hit double evasion effectively with Flying and Menace, and it's got haste, and you're going to draw cards. I mean,
yep, it's a fun one. Great one to go.
I'm sure. Yeah. Well, in my case, I want you to draw cards. So
that's true. I might be
accelerating and then right into my intention.
Well, leaning into this card, Ancient Silver Dragon. Speaking of card draw and
I might
decking
have to make you deck. I'm just going to keep goading that one until you deck yourself.
Flying 8/8. When it deals combat damage, I roll a d20 and draw cards equal to the result, and no max hand size for the rest of the game. So that is a big one. So that's all the card advantage I have that I'm running in the deck. Moving on to targeted interaction. This is regrettably the smallest section, so that is a glaring weakness in the deck. I don't have as much removal as I probably should be running. So Swords to Plowshares is just a great cheap removal piece because I'm working my way to casting big things. Early game things are going to probably be swinging at me, so this is just to try and protect myself. And I don't care if they gain life because I'm probably going to make up for it in damage later. Dragon's Fire is a really good one. It's 1 in red instant. As an additional cost to cast it, I can reveal a dragon from my hand or choose a dragon I control, and it deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker, or if I reveal the dragon, it deals damage equal to that dragon's power instead. So, if I reveal Ancient Silver, it's 2 mana to deal 8 damage to something. Just for one example. So, yeah, not bad.
Pretty sweet.
We have Dragon Tempest, which I mentioned earlier, but it is not a direct removal piece, but over time, as long as I'm getting dragons into play, it can ping things down and get rid of problems. Terra Sunder, flexible removal piece, mostly for enchantment or artifact, but if I do the kicker, it's any permanent, any non-land permanent. So, and then Anguished Unmaking is another flexible one. Exile target non-land permanent, and I lose 3 life. So just really good to get rid of a big problem for me. For the little interaction or targeted interaction I went for flexibility more than anything, I think. All right. We're getting into some mass disruption here. I have 4 pieces that I think would count as that. Crux of Fate. It's a 3 and 2 black sorcery. Choose one. Destroy all dragon creatures or destroy all non-dragon creatures. Guess which one I'm probably choosing.
Now, if I were to reverberate that, am I copying the choice you made? That's unfortunate.
Yeah. When you copy things as they're on the stack, you're copying the
Darn it.
I know.
Darn it.
Oh yeah, Scale Lord Reckoner. So I mean, this is kind of targeted and no, it's more so disruption. So it's a 4/4 flying dragon for 3 and 2 white. It says whenever a dragon you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. So that might be a problem for Red Death. A little bit. Spell or ability.
That could be problematic.
Balefire Dragon. It's a 7-drop, 5 and 2 red, 6/6 flyer. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to each creature that player controls. So just a board wipe against one player.
That's definitely one I'm going to goad. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. A supreme goad target right there.
Really sick art on that one, too. Gosh, I love that.
So good. Yeah. Another one. This is... So, Karthus, Tyrant of Jund. 7/7 flyer with haste. So, mostly in the deck to be a haste enabler for my other dragons, but it also says when it enters, gain control of all dragons and then untap all dragons. And he's giving all the dragons haste. So, in the mirror match, this is one that I really want to see.
Yeah.
If there's another dragon deck at the table.
Pretty much the Highlander of dragons. There can only be one dragon deck at the table. Yeah.
Yep. So that's that. Karthus.
That's fun.
Otherwise, he's a 7/7 beater in the air, which not bad. Recursion. So this is not counting some of those combo pieces like the Animate Dead and whatnot. This does not count those, but those could fill in this role. But in here we have Haven of the Spirit Dragons. Another land just taps for colorless or mana for any color for a dragon spell. Or I can pay 2 and tap and sack it. Return target dragon creature card or Ugin Planeswalker from your graveyard to your hand. I don't run any Ugin Planeswalker in here, but so recur a dragon to hand. Reanimate. So, if I Faithless Looting turn 1 and drop, I don't know, Ancient Silver Dragon, I could turn 2 potentially reanimate it. So that's why that's here.
Yay! Giving me something to goad really early.
Yeah. Yep. Another one, Patriarch's Bidding, 3 and 2 black sorcery. Each player chooses a creature type, and each player returns all creatures of the type of that chosen type from their graveyard to the battlefield. Obviously, I'm choosing dragons.
I'm choosing crabs. Wait, only has good crabs. I don't know how useful that's going to be.
Everyone's going to choose whatever nets them the most, but probably the hope is I benefit the most. Finally, in the recursion, we have Ancient Brass Dragon, which is a 7/6 flyer for 7, 5 and 2 black. And when it deals combat damage, you roll a d20, and you put any number of target creature cards, total mana value X or less, from graveyards onto the battlefield under your control, where X is the result. So it's not just my graveyard, I guess. I could pull things from others, but I most times just want my own dragons. But
I'm suddenly realizing that I might not be running enough graveyard hate in my crab deck that is trying to mill some opponents out. Things to think about.
All right, protection. So there are quite a few things here because we're spending all this mana to get those dragons into play, and we want them to stay. We don't want to deal with recasting or seeing them go away right away. So to help us there, Cavern of Souls, just to protect them on the stack. They can't be countered as long as the mana from this is spent to cast them. Plaza of Heroes is a really good card. It can just tap for colorless, or you can use you can make 1 mana of any color, spend that only on a legendary spell, or it can tap to add 1 mana of any color among legendary permanents you control. Finally, you can pay 3 and tap and sack it to give target legendary creature hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So that's a lot of utility on a land. Yeah. And then we have Heroic Intervention and Dawn's Truce, which are very similar cards. Heroic Intervention, it's pretty standard. The permanents gain hexproof and indestructible till end of turn, and then Dawn's Truce is white and colorless instant. You can gift a card, so if you do that, you choose an opponent to draw a card, and it says you and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn, and if the gift was promised, permanents you control also gain indestructible until end of turn. So just the white equivalent of Heroic Intervention. Yeah. Here we go. This is maybe a controversial one, at least among our pod. Call of the Spirit Dragons. It's a Wooburg enchantment that says, dragons you control have indestructible. Woo! Another card dragons didn't need. And at the beginning of your upkeep, for each color, put a +1/+1 counter on a dragon you control of that color. If you put a +1/+1 counter on 5 dragons this way, you win the game. Which I love this because it's like the 5 colors, 5 heads for Tiamat. It's, our buddy Zach, who's been on a few videos, thinks this card's a trap, and he's probably not wrong. But I'm running it anyway because it's just fun flavor too.
It is fun.
Finally, final protection piece is Dragon Lord Dramoka, which probably the protection piece I'm probably trying to go for the most. It's a 6 drop for 4 and Selesnya, 5/7. This spell can't be countered. It has flying and lifelink, and your opponents can't cast spells during your turn, which is, ooh, that is so nice when I'm trying to go for the World Gorger combo. Otherwise, mana base, I have a lot of, like I mentioned, shock lands, a lot of dual color lands because we're running Wooburg, or 5 color. Some other lands that stand out, I have Reflecting Pool, Command Tower, Temple of the Dragon Queen because flavor, and then the World Tree. So yeah, that is those. Synergies and combos. So here we go. So there are combos in the deck. Most of them are ideally not happening until around turns 6 or 7, you know, which, I mean, that's I think reasonable within a bracket 3 deck. But there is one egregious example or outlier among these, which is turn 1 Island into a Soul Ring, turn 2 Show and Tell into a Dracogenesis, cast Tiamat for free, grab 5 dragons for free, cast those for free for some game-winning dragon combo. So chances of I need Dracogenesis and Show and Tell in my starting hand.
Yeah,
which,
very much a magical Christmas land scenario, but
could
not
happen.
impossible.
Yeah. Plus I need the blue, and yeah. So otherwise we're really going for like a World Gorger combo. So there's a handful of ways. So World Gorger Dragon along with Animate Dead, Necromancy, or Dance of the Dead, along with Terror of the Peaks, Dragon Tempest, or Inferno of the Starmounts, is infinite damage to the face. In the case of Inferno of the Starmounts, the flickering or exiling coming back is going to reset his power to keep repumping him. Otherwise, World Gorger Dragon with Miram Sentinel Worm, along with those same damage to face cards, does the trick as well. I need one of those though, otherwise the game's going to end in a draw. And that's the thing too, is like, let's say I have Terror of the Peaks in play and Miram, and then I cast World Gorger. Well, if somebody really wants to remove the Terror of the Peaks, it's their call to make the game a draw then, I guess. It won't be not on me at that point. So, they could do that.
What's
but then,
the preferred outcome at that point?
Yeah, I mean, you could remove Miram too, but you got to pay the ward. If you don't have the mana for that, then a World Gorger line along with Dragon's Horde is infinite draw and infinite mana. So that in that way I can eventually get into the a way to stop the chain if I can't stop it myself, and a way to just cast a bunch of dragons for haste and win. World Gorger line along with Garruk's Uprising or Temur Ascendancy is infinite draw as well, but there I do need to draw into a way to remove one of my draw engines, just so I don't deck myself.
Sure. Well, or I'm gonna hope you don't. So
So
that I can get you to deck yourself.
Gotta be careful too, because I don't want to be at too few lands. Otherwise, you might be able to deck me.
Yeah.
So, all right. Notable exclusions from the deck. So I could be running more tutors in here, but I think I've got 3 between like that land, Tiamat itself, and oh god, I can't remember. There was I think one other. So I could be running more with like Entomb, Worldly Tutor, blah blah blah. But I've got enough going on in here. No counter spells in the deck. I could very well do that, but do I really need to be doing that? Teferi's Protection is another one that I didn't throw in because I mean it's really powerful, but I don't think I need it. And I would rather do the Hexproof Indestructible route than phasing out, because I want my dragons to stay around. I want them in play so I get those like ETB triggers and stuff.
And
like
the dragons
that.
don't need to run. They're dragons. They don't have
exactly.
They don't have to run away and hide.
I did not throw in Ancient Gold Dragon or Ancient Bronze Dragon. They're great. They're great cards. They just don't really fit into what I was trying to do here. Galadriel's Dismissal, March of Swirling Mist, similar reason to Teferi's Protection. Phasing out is a great way to avoid Cyclonic Rifts, but I went the other way with that. Kindred Discovery is another one that I used to run in here, but I kicked it out because it's kind of expensive alongside dragons, to be honest. Yeah. 5-drop, draw engine when I could rather get a dragon that might draw cards as well. So yeah, that's out. Kalia of the Vast I love the idea, but man, the Mardu is tricky. The Mardu is a little tricky to cast, and she has to attack for you to see value. So, and then finally, I used to run Twin Flame Tyrant, which was the dragon damage doubler, but I opted for Inferno of the Starmounts instead as a backup for Terror of the Peaks with the combo line. All right, weaknesses and challenges. There are definitely some. We rely pretty heavily on direct damage to the face to try and win. So effects that prevent me from targeting my opponents, like Aegis of the Gods, can be problematic to slow me down. Blind Obedience effects can be rough, because not only does it stop my haste, but it also stops me from being able to block. Because I work really hard to get that dragon in play, and it's like, okay, I got a blocker now, But if it comes untapped, things can still keep chipping away. This doesn't have a way around Cyclonic Rift, so if somebody rifts, it's gonna hurt. And we have like I mentioned before, we do have a bit of lack of removal on our end, but we try to make up for that with our protection pieces, and like hoarding dragons, we are all about being greedy with this deck. So, but yeah, that is Tiamat. That's all hail the Dragon Queen. But yeah.
We're not worthy.
Bow down.
Yes.
Whether you watched either video, thank you so much. Like and subscribe again, and tune in for the gameplay stream not too long down the road. Might do that one. Try for that one in person as well. We'll try to do it live action.
Live action. Yes. Crabs v dragons. That's. Maybe there'll be an upset. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a reverse crab boil where the crabs are boiling dragons and eating them. Like,
We'll see.
Suckling dragon roasting on the beach with my crab brave in the background.
Just
fingers crossed.
Shaking those wings and sauce.
Yeah, there we go.
Dragon wings.
Yeah, dragon wings. I like that. That sounds tasty.